Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we got a couple of things to discuss as we do a couple of game reviews again. We're going to continue on with our game review video, and that's coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the Internet Hockey Channel. Before we begin this video, don't forget to like this video, and if you really liked it, remember to subscribe down below. We're so close to 200 subscribers. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this with all of you guys, so thanks for all the support. Now, as usual, I'm going to just kick things off today by discussing a couple of game reviews from the past couple of days. We've had a lot of good games to review over the past couple of days. Only 6 games over the past 2 days, so not overly much to talk about. But there was definitely a couple of good games. First, we had the Kings take on the Leafs on Tuesday afternoon. The Kings were able to come away with a really good win. They would climb up to a 2-0 lead, and they would hold on for a 4-1 victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kings were able to improve to a 5-2-2 record, dropping the Leafs to a 5-3-1 record. So both teams did start out really well. The Kings were able to win this one over the Leafs. Kings had 2 assists from Byfield, plus Kempe, Danault, Andreas Englund's first as a member of the LA Kings, and Arthur Kaliev all scored for the Kings in the win. Meanwhile, Tavares was the lone goal scorer for the Leafs in the loss. Nylander became, I think it was the first Maple Leaf in history to have start a season with a 9-game point streak. He looks fantastic, but it was not enough for the Leafs to end the LA Kings today. So LA Kings improved. Like I said, they're still doing really good. They're third in the Pacific Division. They're continuing to keep pace with some of the other bigger teams. So good to see the Kings are doing really well right now. The Leafs dropped to 5-3-1. That does hurt them a little bit, but they're still a really solid team. I think they'll definitely bounce back. So it wasn't an overly great showing from the Leafs, but they did all right, and the Kings definitely did fantastic. So Kings are able to come away with a huge 4-1 victory over the Maple Leafs. Then we have the Canucks take on the Predators, a rematch of a game from a couple of weeks ago. Canucks were able to win that one 3-2. This one, it was the Canucks winning again. This time it was Canucks 5-2 over the Nashville Predators. Great game there. They came back from down 2-1. Scored 4 answers to win the game. The Canucks are now up to 6-2-1 on the season. The Preds have dropped to 4-5-0. So the Preds will be looking to remain above 500 at the 10-game mark in their next game. But still, Preds looked all right in this game. It wasn't overly bad. They did try and keep it close. But in the third period, Vancouver will pull away. Pettersson had a hat trick. He scored his first goal, which made it a 2-all game. His second goal was able to give the Canucks a 3-2 lead. And then this goal here from Elias Pettersson, remember all clips were credited to Sportsnet, but this goal here was ice the game, make it 5-2, and give himself the hat trick. So definitely, Pettersson had himself a really great night. He's now second in league scoring, only behind Jack Hughes, so Pettersson looks fantastic. He's got due a $10 million qualifying offer this offseason. I think he's going to get a little bit more than the $10 million qualifying offer in the offseason when he's due a new contract. But the Canucks looked really good. Pettersson did fantastic. So on top of Pettersson having a hat trick, Quinn Hughes had 3 assists. Anthony Beauvillier had 2 assists. Both JT Miller and Sam Lafferty also scored for the Canucks in the win, while Fabro and Sessions were 2 goal scorers for the Preds in the loss. So Preds kept it close, but it was not an overly great showing there from the Preds, as they do fall to 4-5-0. Canucks continue to do well. They're on a pretty good point streak right now, so Canucks look really good heading into their 10th game as well, so really good stuff there from Vancouver and from Nashville. Then yesterday we had 4 games of action. First, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, coming off his first career shutout, had another fantastic game, stopping 38 of 40 shots and helping the Buffalo Sabres down the Philadelphia Flyers 5-2 to get back up to 500 at the 10-game mark. So that's a huge job for the Buffalo Sabres, starting 5-5-0 now after a pretty bad start, starting out, I think, with the back-to-back losses, starting out 1-3-0. This is a really good start for the Sabres given that fact. They were able to down the Flyers, who dropped to 4-5-1 in their first 10 games. So after a really hot start from the Flyers, they've now lost 3 straight. Like I said, the Flyers are probably going to start falling at some point. I don't expect the Flyers to do overly well this year, and they're below 500 already at the 10-game mark. So that's not overly surprising in my opinion. You had Tage Thompson, had a 3-point night for the Buffalo Sabres, a goal and 2 assists. Brandon Biro was playing in one of his first NHL games was able to get his first NHL goal and his second NHL goal. The empty netter was the second NHL goal. Biro has a 2-goal game for the Buffalo Sabres. Then you also had Casey Middleton have a goal and an assist. Alex Tuch had 2 assists, and Owen Power also scored for the Sabres in the win, while Travis Sanheim had 2 assists, and Atkinson and Farabee scored for the Flyers in the loss. So it was a really good close game there. Sabres were able to come away with a huge victory. They were able to break away in the third period of the tie, and they were able to add a couple of goals to ice the game. So really good game there from the Sabres. I think they definitely earned it. There was a huge win over Philadelphia, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. But Sabres improved to 5-5-0, back up to 500 after a poor start. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, 3 straight losses. They're down to 4-5-1. They're not doing overly well right now. Then we had the Dallas Stars take on the Calgary Flames. Flames were up 1-0 and 2-1 in this game. The 1-0 goal, as you can see here, was one of the Flames' young players who was playing his first NHL game, got his first NHL goal, and that is former 2020 first-round pick, Connor Zary. Zary was able to score his first career NHL goal in this game. It looked like it was a big confidence booster for the Flames. Zary looked absolutely phenomenal in this game. Zary opened the scoring to make it 1-0 Flames. After he did score, the Flames would wind up giving up a goal. They would score another one, but then after that, the Stars sort of took over. They scored 3 straight, made it 4-2. Flames make it interesting, but it was a 4-3 Stars win at the end of the day. Stars were able to improve to 6-1-1 on the year. They continue their very hot start. Meanwhile, the Flames have now lost 6 in a row in regulation and have dropped to 2-7-1 in their first 10 games. That is absolutely awful by the Calgary Flames. Jamie Benn had a goal and an assist for the Stars. Rupe Hintz had 2 assists for the Stars, and then Dodonov, Robertson, and Marchment all scored for Dallas in the win. Meanwhile, Uyghur had a goal and an assist for the Flames. Lindholm and Kadri had 2 assists for the Flames, and like I said, Zary scored his first NHL goal, as well as Mangiapane also scored for the Calgary Flames in the loss, as they dropped to, like I said, 2-7-1, 6 straight regulation losses. Flames do not look overly good. They're not in an overly great position right now. I've mentioned this a couple of times before. Having extremely good 10-game starts does not guarantee you the playoffs, but having extremely bad 10-game starts almost derails your entire season. The Flames are not looking overly good right now. So it'll be interesting to see if they are going to be able to climb out of this hole. They're 5 games below 500 right now, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see. But the Flames drop again, and they're now at 2-7-1, and they're now one of the lower teams in the NHL. The Avalanche were able to beat the St. Louis Blues 4-1 to improve to a record of 7-0 after getting shelled by back-to-back games. That's a huge win for the Avalanche to be able to put up some points. The Avalanche were able to get goals and assists from Mikko Rantanen. They got Makar and McKinnon having 2 assists, and then Lehkonen, Colton, and Byram also scored for the Avs in the win. Meanwhile, Robert Thomas was the lone goal scorer for the Blues in the loss. So Blues dropped to 3-4-1. They're below 500 again this year. They're not doing overly well. They can't seem to find the back of the net. They have won a couple of games. Most of them have been lower scoring games. So the Blues need to find a way to generate some more offense for this team. But the Avalanche is a huge bounce back game after being shut out back-to-back games after starting out 6-0 to start the season. So really interesting stuff, but some really good game there from the Avalanche to improve to 7-2-0 while dropping the Blues to 3-4-1. I don't think the Blues really need to do too much stuff, but they do need to try and find a way to put the puck back into the net more. Meanwhile, the Avalanche continue to do good, and it's good to see that they were able to get a scoring outburst yesterday. And then we also had the Arizona Coyotes take on the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks were able to come from behind, beat the Arizona Coyotes 4-3 in overtime to improve to 6-4-0 on the season. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Troy Terry had himself a night, scoring the opening goal, scoring the second goal of the game for the Anaheim Ducks, and scoring this goal here, which wound up being the OT winner to complete the hat trick and give the Anaheim Ducks their 5th straight win. Terry had 3 goals and an assist for a 4-point night yesterday, and then Lucas Carlson also scored for the Anaheim Ducks in the win. So it was a fantastic game from the Ducks, who, after starting out 1-4-0, are now 6-4-0 and are above 500 at the 10-game mark. Meanwhile, Lawson Krause had a couple of goals in this game. Jenneth Jerome Moser had a couple of assists. Logan Cooley had his first career NHL goal, which was fantastic to see. He's had a couple of assists up to this point, but he had him score a goal, so that's really good to see. And then the Arizona Coyotes, with that loss, dropped to 4-4-1. So Coyotes still look really good. They blew another lead, but at least they got a point out of this one. They're going to play again tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see how Arizona does. Meanwhile, for Anaheim, they continue to be hot, they continue to do well, and they're now back above 500 by 2 games. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, a hot start does not guarantee you make the playoffs. The Ducks are doing extremely well right now. So those are the 6 game updates that I wanted to touch on here. Then I just want to touch on a couple of quick things. I'll do this in the next couple of videos as well. But I think the 10-game mark is a really important part. As I said before, when I was looking at some stats, over the past 5 years, full 82-game seasons, so the last 2 82-game seasons plus the 3 before the COVID stuff happened, in those 5 years, 28 teams wound up finishing at the 10-game mark with 8 points or less over that time frame. Only one made the playoffs. So finishing with 8 points or lower is almost a death sentence at the 10-game mark. And on top of that, if you have all of the teams at the 10-game mark line up into a playoff format, usually between 11 and 13 teams wind up making the playoffs. So I think the 10-game mark, even though a lot of people can say you're going to get a lot of changes throughout the season, I think the 10-game mark is actually quite important. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap from some of the teams who have reached the 10-game mark and some of their stats at the 10-game mark. Remember, a quarter of the league, 8 teams have already reached the 10-game mark by right now. The Seattle Kraken finished the 10-game mark with a 3-5-2 record for 8 points. They have 24 goals for, 34 goals against. They're minus 10. And then players who have more than 7 points at the 10-game mark is Jared McCann, who has 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. Oliver Bjorkstrand, who has 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Vince Dunn, who has a goal, 7 assists, 8 points. Gene Schwartz, who has 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. So the Kraken don't have anyone over 8 points in their first 10 games, so it'll be interesting to see how well those guys do over the next little while. For the Golden Knights, their first 10 games is absolutely insane. They're 9-0-1 for 19 points. They have a 38 goals for, 22 goals against, a plus 16 rating. Players with more than 7 points on that team. Mark Stone has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. Chandler Stevenson has 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Thierry Theodore has 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. Jack Eichel has 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. And William Karlsson has 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points. So definitely a lot of really good games there. Eichel, Theodore on a point-per-game pace. Karlsson's over a point-per-game pace. So the Golden Knights are doing absolutely fantastic right now. Meanwhile, for the Carolina Hurricanes, they started the season 6-4-0 for 12 points. 37 goals for, 37 goals against, an even rating. Meanwhile, players with over 7 points on that team. Brady Shea has a goal, 6 assists, 7 points. Jacob Slavin has 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. Stefan Noesen has 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Michael Bunting has 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. Teuvo Teravainen has 8 goals, 8 assists, and 9 points. Marty Necas has 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. Seth Jarvis has 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. And Jesperi Kotkaniemi is a point-per-game player right now with 4 goals, 6 assists, and 10 points. So the Canes look absolutely phenomenal after the 10-game mark. Then for the Detroit Red Wings, they started their first 10 games with a 6-3-1 record, 13 points. They have 40 goals for, 31 goals against, a plus 9, so they're not doing overly bad at scoring goals right now. If you look at the players who have 7 or more points at the 10-game mark for the Detroit Red Wings, that's Daniel Sprong, who has 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. That's Lucas Raymond, who has 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. Shane Gostisbehere, who has 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Moritz Seider, who has a goal, 9 assists, 10 points. Alex DeBrincat, who has 9 goals, 4 assists, 13 points, on pace for like 74 goals. And Dylan Larkin, who has 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points, currently on pace for over 120 points. So Larkin's done fantastic, and he's on pace for a ton of points this year. So really good stuff there from the Red Wings. Then for the Buffalo Sabres, who played their 10th game yesterday, the Sabres are 5-5-0 for 10 points at the 10-game mark, 32 goals for, 29 goals against, a plus 3 goal differential, so not too bad for the Buffalo Sabres. Players who have over 7 points at the 10-game mark for the Sabres, that's Alex Tuch with a goal and 6 assists, 7 points. Dylan Cousins with 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. Rasmus Dahlin, who has 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points. Casey Milstead, who has 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Tage Thompson, who has 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. And Jeff Skinner, who's on a point-per-game pace right now with 5 goals, 5 assists, and 10 points. So the Sabres look pretty good right now, even though they had a pretty bad start in their first 10 games. Then you have the Philadelphia Flyers, who in their first 10 games have started 4-5-1 for 9 points. They have 32 goals for, 33 goals against, a -1 record. Players in Philadelphia who have started with more than 7 points this year are Farabee, who has 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. Couturier, who has 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Atkinson, who has 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points. Sanheim, who's on a point per game pace right now with a goal, 9 assists, 10 points. And Travis Konechny, who has 8 goals, 3 assists, and 11 points. Konechny's on pace for 66 goals. Can he keep that up? I don't think so, but he's on a really good pace right now to be a really good goal scorer for the Philadelphia Flyers. If you look at the Calgary Flames at the 10-game mark, for them, they are really, really bad. The Flames are a team who I think a start, maybe the Kraken too, but the Flames for sure are a team who I think their start may wind up costing them the playoffs. They started out 2-7-1 for 5 points. That's awful in my opinion. They have 22 goals for, 38 goals against, a minus 16 on the season. And the only 2 players who have more than 7 points at the 10-game mark are Mangiapane and Lindholm. Mangiapane has 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points, and Lindholm has 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points. Their current leader on the point totals is currently projected to put up around 65 points. That's not overly great for the Calgary Flames. In Calgary, it does not look overly good. Meanwhile, Pacific Division rival Anaheim's had a better start to the season. They started 6-4-0 for 12 points, 33 goals for, 30 goals against, a +3 rating, and players with over 7 points at the 10-game mark is Pavel Mintyukov with a goal, 6 assists, 7 points. Currently on pace for 57 points as a rookie, which is absolutely phenomenal. Terry has 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. Vetrano has 9 goals, 8 assists, and 10 points, on pace for 74 goals. He's not going to keep up that pace, but that's absolutely phenomenal. Strome has 2 goals, 9 assists, 11 points, on pace for over a point per game. Vetrano's on pace for a point per game. And then McTavish is on pace for 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points, currently on pace for 99 points. So that's absolutely phenomenal for McTavish. And Strome and Vetrano, who are all over a point per game right now, or at a point per game. But the Ducks look really good at this point in time. Those are your teams right now who have reached the 10-game mark. Ducks are 6-4-0, Flames are 2-7-1, Flyers are 4-5-1, Sabres are 5-5-0, Canes are 6-4-0, Red Wings are 6-3-1, Knights are 9-0-1, and the Kraken are 3-5-2. So those are your guys who have reached the 10-game mark. There's going to be a handful of teams who end up reaching the 10-game mark today on Thursday. There's also going to be one on Friday, and then the rest of the league will finish up their 10th game on Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with those teams who are playing their 10th game in the next little while. Just a quick recap from their future games. We have 12 games today in the NHL, 2 games tomorrow, so there's definitely a lot of action. Today we have the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Both teams are playing game number 10. We have the Florida Panthers playing the Detroit Red Wings. We have the Carolina Hurricanes playing the New York Rangers who play game 10. We have the LA Kings who are playing game 10 taking on the Ottawa Senators. And New York Islanders taking on the Washington Capitals. All of those games start at 4 o'clock today. Then at 4:30, Boston takes on Toronto. Both teams, if I'm correct, are playing game number 10 today. The Devils will take on the Wild. Wild are playing game number 10 today. That's at 5 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, you have the Stars taking on the Oilers. At 7 o'clock, you have the Coyotes taking on the Canadiens. Both teams are playing game number 10. You have the Predators taking on the Kraken. Preds are playing game number 10. You have the Jets taking on the Knights. Jets are taking on game number 10. And at 7:30 Pacific time, you have the Canucks taking on the Sharks. And at that point, the Canucks and the Sharks will both play game 10. So the Canucks and Sharks wrap up a long schedule of games today. Meanwhile, tomorrow we have 2 games. A rematch of the game from Wednesday, as the Flyers will take on the Sabres again at 4 o'clock Pacific time on Friday. And then the Devils will be playing their 10th game of the season, or taking on the St. Louis Blues at 5 o'clock. So those are 2 games on Friday. We'll recap those 14 games, 12 on Thursday, 2 on Friday. We'll recap those games on Saturday morning, but for now, that's all I'm going to talk about. Definitely love to hear your guys' thoughts. Which games do you think have been the best over the past couple days? No, I've only been 6. And are you surprised by any team's records at the 10-game mark that I listed today? Are you surprised that Anaheim 6-4-0? Are you surprised Calgary's 2-7-1? Are you surprised Seattle 3-5-2? Are you surprised Philly's 4-5-1? Are you surprised the Vegas Golden Knights are 9-0-1? Definitely. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments. That's all I'm going to talk about for today. Remember to like this video, and if you really like it, remember to subscribe down below. We are so close to 200 subscribers, so thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this with all of you guys, so definitely don't forget to subscribe. Also a blog talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so let me check that out. I'll leave links down in the description below, and I can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.